We're gonna throw that motor right on in there and get that thing cranked right on up.
But it was in that moment that he knew that he
Mr. Everything's the name. Came through changing the game, doing my thing in my own lane. Every time you see me, I'm hitting them switches, sliding through with something super vicious. Who is this? Mr. Everything's the name. Came through changing the game, doing my thing in my own lane. Every time you see me, I'm hitting them switches, sliding through with something super vicious. Who is this?
What's going on, everybody? It's Mr. Everything, bringing y'all lowriders and horsepower, you dig? Rain, sleet, hail, snow, or shine, nothing, and no one stops the grind. Not even the haters on the sidelines. And today, I'm in the 300. Supposed to be working on the 300, but yeah, didn't go as I planned. I actually started working on this thing yesterday, but it was in that moment that he knew that he dubbed. So I'm just in here letting it warm up because, you know, the weather is kind of rainy and it's cold, so I'll try to keep these things started up. But anyway, hit the like button, you know what I'm saying? Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, but if you have, thank you very kindly. Today, I'm gonna show y'all some good news with the Lowrider, you know what I'm saying? Been working at that thing, had a good conversation with one of my dogs about this whole PCV valve thing and what I found out. And I found out something to solve my problem with this oil spewing out situation. Then, when I had the conversation, he hit me to some other things about this system on this Lowrider. So y'all just go ahead and look at that. And then we're going to, you know, go down the line, show you some stuff with this thing right here, the Trans Am. She's coming back. It's been a long time since you've seen her, but she's coming back. So watch all the way to the end. Check it all out. You know what I'm saying? You ain't going to be hitting no switches or nothing like that this time. But you get a look at the Lowrider, and you do get a chance to learn something that you might have or might have not known. So, about to get into it now.
All right, y'all, back at it again. It's raining outside, but I don't care. You know I'm going to get this thing together no matter what the weather, you dig? So, before I even get into everything else, I already said I was going to replace this thing right here. So, about to go ahead and get to it. The other one is rough, but hey, it still tightens down, so I ain't finna replace it yet. But this bad boy right here done seen better days. It's loose. Can't tighten it down no more because, you know, you can only tighten them down a couple of times before you got to replace them. So makes no sense to try to keep it on. So about to replace that. Then I'm about to show you what I done found out about this thing. All right, so the pace it's turned from a little rain to a little snow, so we gonna hurry it up. Now, did go ahead and put that end on. Had to do some bopping to get that thing on because it's so tight, but it's good for it to be tight and then to be loose. But anyway, so if you look right here, it's like a generic PCV thing that was on here for when I got it. It's like just an elbow, so it's really not even a PCV, which is why it probably had the malfunction. Now, what happened with this thing was, over the time that I've had it, I replaced the valve cover gasket. Now, I replaced it once and was wondering why I still had issues with it. And then I come over here. Let's see if we can get close enough. Right there, you can see there's the other there's the PCV valve, but then there's not necessarily one over here. And I believe it should also be a PCV valve as well, and this is probably why the system wasn't working properly. So, PCV meaning, you know, positive crankcase ventilation. So, it takes in the air through here, which we already know. And basically, it goes down to the crank down there, but then it also comes up through the valve cover. Some of that breathes out basically, and then it goes, it's supposed to be, and then it's reintroduced back into the air intake through this hose, like right here. Well, actually through this hose here, it's reintroduced back in. But the downside of that is if the PCV valve goes bad, then it's going to create a rough idle. It's also not going to be breathing well because there's like a suction end it's like the air is coming in from here because I felt it. So the air is coming through there, but then there's the suction there. Now, if I had a PCV valve here, it might actually have proper ventilation. I might still try that out. Switch out this hose and get a brand new PCV valve here and a brand new one there because they're still cheap enough to do. But this also led to the oil that was coming up through the dipstick. Now, there might have always been some type of leak from the dipstick, but I would say not, because it actually just happened a few months ago. So with a proper with the proper PCV valve system, you don't get too much oil shooting up to the dipstick, because the oil is not supposed to come that far up with pressure. It's actually supposed to stay lower down in the bottom towards the the crankcase or the oil pan anyway, where the oil sits anyway. That pressure is not supposed to come way up there. So what I discovered is that by unhooking this, it stopped the system and therefore stopped the oil from blowing up this high. Now, the only way for me to really test the method is to take it up the road, which I'm not going to do today. But starting this thing now, it no longer leaks from the dipstick. So that is basically solved. I'm finna start this thing up anyway to show, to make sure that it all starts up anyway, because all I did was hook up that. And so I'm finna start it up and let me hear it run for a second. right, now as you can see, it doesn't actually take as long to idle as it used to. I should have got some video of how long it actually did take to idle. All right, now get y'all to look right here to where dipstick is. Normally oil shoots out as you rev up. I'm trying to focus in. Come on now. Focus. All right. Now as you rev up, oil typically shoots up out of there. Now as you see, there's no oil shooting up out of there. And that is because if you look over at this hose right here, there's no air running through it to the block or to the, there's no air running right there into the valve cover, because this is where the air actually comes out. I can feel it on my finger. So the air comes out there, and without the system completely hooked up, there's no oil leaking. Now if you look right there, I hooked it back up. Now watch right there by where that nut is. When we rev the gas, you can see a little bit of oil spitting up. See that? See that little bit of bubbling that just came right there? Do one more time. You see that? See that? See that bubbling? All right, now that comes, hopefully y'all seen that. And now that is the reason why I had so much oil shooting all over the manifold, because it would come up through that hole onto the manifold, thus giving me a whole bunch of smoke everywhere while I'm trying to look good and hit my switch and have the crowds in amazement, you dig? So that half is fixed. Now I'm always doing some type of research, so since I unhooked that, I will go and get 2 brand new PCV valves and see it, because this one never had a PCV valve. And I knew this, but I never thought about it, because like I say, you never think about how this stuff all works in unison until you're really trying to get it to run right and go down the street, and really until you start to get those leaks and you get oil. So too much pressure coming from the crankcase, if this system is, the PCV valve system is malfunctioning, it will allow too much pressure up top. So then you'll have your valve cover gaskets will go first, and it said it could even do other damage as far as head gaskets, stuff like that, just having too much pressure from that system. So I would like to see what would happen if I would get 2 brand new PCV valves, run them, but then one of my boys I was talking to, you know what I'm saying, my dogs, he said to just go ahead and run breathers on them so that they could just breathe, therefore letting out whatever pressure that might be, wherever. So just put breathers on them. So I'm thinking about putting breathers on them, because the thing about PCV valves is you have to be really careful to find out when they go bad, because all you're doing is driving every day. So as long as this thing is still running, you're not going to assume that you have a bad PCV valve. So I'm going to leave this undone like this. Got my good old pliers right there, because that little elbow that's hooked up to that system fell down, and I didn't want to burn my hand, so I did that. But y'all can see, I mean, it's running extra nice, you know what I mean? It's without it hooked up. So that's the science on that. Got something going on with the Challenger too. One of the gauges is going wacky, but I'm glad I do have a warranty on that thing, so that part would be free, you dig? 300 supposed to work on that thing today, but I tell y'all what happened. 300, I got the mini torch in a few days ago, picked it up and took off that tire back there, took off everything again, put the heat on it, maybe I was impatient, but could not get that thing off to save my life, you dig? So I'm done with that for a moment. It's a guy that I know that can get it right for the right price, and I think I'm probably going to use his services because I'm fed up. Now this thing right here, it's back on the menu. Finna do some more work. When one thing stumps me on one of these vehicles, or maybe I'm tired of doing too much, then what I will do is switch up and start working on something else that's giving me less headache at the moment. Or sometimes I have, my genius cuts in and I find out how to do something I couldn't do before. I'll show you, hold on. Bam, here it is right here. Valve cover for the Trans Am motor. Now, I finally found out how to get this thing on the right way. That'll be one of the next videos. I already been working on it. Now, from the bottom, there's no valve cover gasket on this thing. And if you look right here where there's a little bend at, originally when I took it off, it was worse than that. This whole, that whole little sleeve right there where the bolt goes through, where the screw goes in, that whole thing was bent something awful. But I fixed it. And so this, all I gotta do now is get a new set of valve cover gaskets, because I've been looking for that thing for days, cannot find it to save my life. So I'm gonna go ahead and get another set of valve cover gaskets. But this thing here is about to start getting worked on. Motor will go in soon, and I think I might just go ahead and try to tackle it myself. Get me a cherry picker and throw that thing in and go for what I know. I've been watching a whole bunch of YouTube, you know what I'm saying? So
We're gonna throw that motor right on in there and get that thing cranked right on up.
So I think that's what I'm gonna do with the Trans Am. Get that thing cranked right on up, you understand? On my own. Well, maybe not so much on my own, but I will drop the motor up in that thing, you know what I mean? It's time to wake everything up. Can you hear that thing run? Keep saying it because I got to put it out in the atmosphere. We're gonna get 300 fixed. We'll get that fixed. It's gonna be riding on the road, and I'm gonna drop that motor in that Trans Am. It's got to happen. It's got to happen soon. It's got to happen before next summer. Put that, on the goal list. It's really starting to come on down. That don't stop nothing, you already know.
Well, all right, everybody. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Like I said, it wasn't originally what I was planning on bringing to y'all. I was originally planning on bringing this 300, some good news, getting everything put on the back, drilled, slided rotors, with pads, and everything was gonna be looking all nice and shiny, and gonna take it up the road, and that didn't happen. But I'm gonna get the situation handled. Then also Trans Am, like I say, it's up next. I'm gonna continuously be working on that thing, So I appreciate y'all rocking with me like y'all do. Appreciate everybody who subscribed to the channel in the past, yesterday, last week, the week before that, any other times in between. Because you could be anywhere watching anything, but you right here watching Mr. Everything, you know what I'm saying? So, rain, sleet, hail, snow, shine, nothing. No one stops to grind. Not even haters on the sidelines. I'm Mr. Everything, bringing y'all low riders and horsepower, you dig? Till next time, I'm out.